You've probably all noticed that in all my examples of conditionals, this code, the code within, but in between the if and the and, is indented, right? I happen to indent it 2 spaces. That's sort of the common practice in Ruby. In other languages, people might use 4 spaces, but everything within the condition, within the ifs, between the if and the and, is indented to the right. Would anyone want to take a stab as to why I do that? Does it need to happen? What would happen if I didn't do that? Would this code still run? So it's just arbitrary, so there's no real way to really guess at this. But the answer is that in Ruby, the code will still run. These indentations are purely aesthetic, and my code will run just the same even if I don't indent.
That makes it more readable, though.
Yeah, so the answer to my question is, so why do I indent it? The answer is because it's easier for the human to read. So we'll just demonstrate. If I run it, it works just as well. Who said that? I didn't see who it was. Joseph? Kale? Who said it was more readable? You did? Awesome. So Kale said, yeah, it's easier to read this code if I indent that. Bless you. So I encourage you as well, whenever you're writing if statements, that everything in between the if and the and, if you indent it, you're making life easier for the next developer who's going to be reading your code. Does it make sense to you why it's more readable? We're going to get into more complex examples, and then you're for sure going to understand why it's more readable, because you're going to be hard to live without the indentation. Now, it should be noted that there are languages, like Python, for example, where you must indent. And if you don't indent, it won't work. But Ruby happens to not be like that. Ruby indentation is not necessary, but it's a nice favor to the next developer who will look at your code. And sometimes that next developer might be you, right? 6 months from now, you have to come back to your own code and be like, what on earth did I write here? So you could do yourself a favor by indenting in the first place.